At 16 years old, the only thing I was thinking about was how to get admission into the university. And then there's this young girl thinking about relationship, thinking about boyfriend, thinking about ex-boyfriend, and then thinking about how to unalive the ex-boyfriend because of a breakup. So I have a question. Why are the youths of nowadays actively doing things, like they are actively trying to do things that would ultimately get them in trouble? Why are they in so much of a hurry to grow up? Do they not think of the consequences? Or are they usually like, damn the consequences? Or do they not even know what the consequences of their actions are? Imagine just going to check on your son unsuspectingly, and then you find out that your teenage son and 4 of his friends have been unalived. Today we're going to be discussing the story of a young girl who made a pepper soup for her ex-boyfriend but ended up unaliving 5 people. Let's get right into the story. So hello and welcome to Sleuthville. My name is Nadia and I'm your host on this channel as usual. If this is your first time stopping by, please make sure to click on that subscribe button right now to get subscribed to the channel. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, give this video a like, and drop your comments in the comment section. I'm very sure that you're going to get 1 or 2 things from today's story. So let's get right into it. On the 26th of October at around 6:30 a.m., Mr. Ezekiel Eloge decided to go visit his son, to go pay his 19-year-old son, Emmanuel, a visit at his apartment. Now, on getting to Emmanuel's apartment, when he got to the front door, he noticed a young boy as well, just lying down on the floor. And I'm sure he thought to himself, like, what are these boys up to? Like, why are you lying down on the corridor? What exactly is the problem? And so I'm sure that he tried to, tap the boy. Now, the boy is identified as Nuruddin. He tried to tap the boy, like, get up, get up and go inside. What are you doing outside by this time? But as he touched this boy to wake him up to go inside the house, I'm sure he might have felt that his body was cold. And then on further investigation, on trying to wake him up, he would have discovered as well that his body was already stiff, which meant that Nuruddin was lying lifeless at the corridor in his son's apartment. His agitation and anxiety would then spike up as he would hurriedly rush into the house, trying to figure out where his son Emmanuel was. But the search wasn't quite long, because as he entered into his son's bedroom, he saw his son as well as another girl identified as his son's girlfriend lying down on the bed. Now, when he went close to try and shake him up and ask him that what's going on here, what's going on in your house, like why is there a lifeless body in front of your house, he also discovered, shockingly, like to his shock, that his son as well as the other lady lying down beside him, identified as Ada Samuel, were lifeless. The both of them were lifeless. And then this man ran out to the sitting room as well, like filled with anxiety. Like, I'm sure he must have thought that what exactly is going on here? Am I dreaming? Is this a dream? As he got to the sitting room as well, he discovered 2 other bodies in the sitting room, lifeless. Now, these 2 other bodies were brothers, identified as Jeffrey and Samuel Ayegwalu. Mr. Ezekiel, filled with so much distraught and panic, decided to, call the police or go to the police station and make a report that this is what is happening. I just went to my son's house this morning and I found him as well as 4 other young people unalived. And then the police decided to start an investigation as to what happened in Emmanuel's apartment. So what exactly happened? Emmanuel Eloge, a 19-year-old boy, was dating Aisha Suleiman, a 16-year-old girl. Now, I'm sure when they started this relationship, it was all lovey-dovey, teenage love and all of that. And at some point, we don't know so much details as to what led to this, but at some point they decided to break up and go their separate ways. And so Emmanuel immediately started dating another girl identified as Ada Samuel. She was also 16 years old. Now, his ex-girlfriend Aisha Suleiman must have thought that, my God, like, why did this boy break up with me? You know, teenage love is always like, is the end of the world. Like, if that person leaves you, that's it. You're done for. You're never going to find love again. You're never going to get married again. I'm sure those things were the things that were going on in her head. But then, unlike a normal teenager would do, you know, like, I feel like every other teenager would have felt like, oh, cried about it, you know, just felt sad, stayed in your room, locked yourself up, cried, you know, and at some point would have gotten over it. But like I said, it seems as if the youth of nowadays, they think of things that are way past them. I don't know if it is the things that we're seeing in movies nowadays, or if the world is just entirely just going bad. But this girl sat down in her house and allegedly cooked up a plan on what to do. From several information sources, I gathered that Emmanuel actually got into an accident and, you know, had his arm broken. He had an injury on his arm. And then his ex-girlfriend Aisha thought it nice to, you know, pay him a visit and, you know, bring a plate of pepper soup for him. Now, pepper soup is like a local Nigerian dish that is really, really nice. It's a mixture of like different kinds of meat and, you know, just a really, really nice meal. And she cooked up this pepper soup for him and brought it to his house, to his apartment, and she gave it to him. Now, we don't have so much details as to if she stayed with him in this apartment or if after she delivered the food, she left. We also do not know if his friends, as well as his girlfriend, his present girlfriend, were in the same house when Aisha brought this meal to him. But what we know is this: Aisha delivered this pepper soup to her ex-boyfriend, Emmanuel. And in the process of eating this meal, Emmanuel, his girlfriend, and 3 other friends decided to join in on this plate of pepper soup. But then, unknown to these young boys and girl, that would be their last supper, or last lunch, or last breakfast. I mean, we're not quite sure of the time of the day when this thing actually happened, but that would be their last meal on this earth, because shortly after taking that meal, they all ended up dead. And this was what led up to the point where Emmanuel's father, Mr. Ezekiel, came over to his house and found all of them lifeless in his apartment. And then he raised an alarm, got the neighbors, got a vehicle, you know, filled with so much hope. Like, you know, when you know that something has already happened, but you just want to be hopeful because it is your child. You just want to be hopeful and then be like, oh, let me just try everything that I can. There might still be hope somewhere. So they picked up these 5 teenagers and they took them to the hospital. But on getting to the hospital, they were said to have been pronounced dead on arrival. And further investigation by the police, the neighbors had mentioned that the 5 teenagers were seen eating a bowl of pepper soup together, and that this pepper soup was delivered by his ex-girlfriend Aisha Suleiman. So when the community heard about this, they literally went to Aisha's house to lynch her and to, you know, carry out jungle justice. But the police intervened in this situation and they were able to arrest Aisha and take her to the police station. And then presently, actually, investigations are still ongoing. Like I said earlier, what would make a young girl of 16 years think about, like, your boyfriend broke up with you and the first thing you're thinking of is how to poison him to death? Because I'm sure that her initial thought was only planned for her ex-boyfriend, but it was just unfortunate that it eventually ended up in taking the lives of 4 extra people, and, you know, 5 people ended up unalived. I'm just trying to analyze and to think of this situation or the thoughts that went through her head for her to now end up saying, oh, I am going to unalive this boy for breaking up with me. Make it make sense. A 16-year-old girl, and now this girl has practically thrown her whole life. I mean, this whole thing is alleged. So it's allegedly she's innocent until proven guilty. However, if she's proven guilty, it means that she has actually thrown away her whole life just because of an ex-boyfriend, just because she wanted to get revenge on an ex-boyfriend. I just want to talk to people. I mean, this whole situation has been making a rave on social media. There's been this thing about, going to your friend's house and seeing him taking pepper soup, and then everybody's asking, who made this pepper soup for you? Or they're eating the pepper soup, and then the next thing is, it was my ex-girlfriend that brought this, and then everybody's like, please, I need an antidote and all of that. And people just feel like it is unsafe anymore to go to anybody's house and join them in eating the meals that they're eating, because you don't know who prepared the meal, you don't know what's inside the meal. So people have become a bit more cautious when eating out or when eating in their friend's place because of this whole scenario. And what makes it more troubling is that this whole thing occurred amongst teenagers, like people that are not, I mean, one of them was an adult. Emmanuel was 19 years, but still he was a teenager. And the person that perpetrated this crime was also 16 years old. At 16 years old, the only thing I was thinking about was how to get admission into the university. And then there's this young girl thinking about relationship, thinking about boyfriend, thinking about ex-boyfriend, and then thinking about how to unalive the ex-boyfriend because of a breakup. You guys, let's discuss this in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts about this whole thing that has happened, because as usual, I cannot for the life of me understand it. I just cannot understand how teenagers, how young people, I'm talking as if I'm not young. I'm young actually, but I cannot understand how these Gen Z people and Gen X or whatever they call themselves, how they are thinking and doing things that are way past them, way past their level, way past their age. Let's drop our thoughts in the comment section, guys. Okay, we've come to the end of this video, guys. If you have gotten to this point and you have not liked this video, or you have not commented, or you have not subscribed to this channel, I mean guys, what are you doing? Please give this video a thumbs up, drop your comments in the comment section, and subscribe to this channel if you're someone that loves true crime stories. So yeah, I know I've been away for a while, guys. That's because I had exams. I was taking professional exams. I was pursuing something, and thankfully, I was able to pass that exam and get what I wanted, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm going to be more consistent going forward, and I appreciate all of you that subscribe to this channel and that have been watching my videos and dropping your comments and your likes as well. I like to say stay safe and stay informed, and until my next video, bye.